It's another Human First AI marketing podcast. I'm your host, Mike Montague. Avenue 9 is my company where we help people tell stories, engage with audiences, and build membership communities. Have all kinds of fun talking to people and telling their stories with the power of AI to amplify your authenticity in your business. This week, I have Daniel Molina here from Red Palm Studios. We're going to be talking about the future of SEO. Does it even have a future? Is it already dead? What AEO looks like and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. Daniel, thanks for being on the show. They can find you at redpalm.us for the SEO services and marketing stuff that you do. But you also have a really cool YouTube channel, the Daniel Molina Life channel there. Tell us about that and what you're doing on the Human First front there.
Yeah, I like to. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, Mike. I like to think of myself as an entrepreneur that loves to give back. And really, my heart is always to just serve the community and be fruitful and help add to the community. And so if you ever go to danielmolina.life or go to my YouTube channel, a lot of topics I talk about is either business, family, and political or social issues. And so for me, I have a podcast that's tailored more to Hawaii and trying to help the people of Hawaii to be entrepreneurs and try to add to the community, because there's a lot of issues as any place has. But Hawaii specifically has issues in that the local community, the local Hawaiian community, are getting bought out of their houses, getting bought out of their land because they just can't afford it. And the education is not the greatest there unless you go into private school. Public schools try their best to do what they can with the resources they have. But a lot of people have to go to the mainland if they want any kind of higher education that's really good. And so that being said, it kind of leads people leaving the island, and then all these other people start buying up the island. And the reason why people love Hawaii is because they love the people of Hawaii. And so when you don't have the people there in Hawaii, then they lose the aloha spirit, is what we called. And then it just becomes another beautiful place without the people that makes that place beautiful. And so a lot of what I do is to help them, but really anybody, right? I like to talk about entrepreneurship, how to start businesses, finding the golden people, and helping them see it. Because a lot of people don't realize that everyone has gold, everyone has a talent and gift, and just helping you find and seeing that gold. And then whether you monetize it, whether you just enjoy it for just the joy of life, it's just helping you say everyone has value, see that value, and then better society around you because of that gifting and that talent and that goal that you have. And so that's what my expression of what that looks like is danielmolina.life, my YouTube channel. I'm starting to climb at 10,000 subscribers or followers on Instagram. So I'm slowly growing an audience of people in that community. So yeah, and so I just love giving back. And so that's kind of what's behind that.
Yeah, looking at your background, I saw a ton of entrepreneurial things, from buying a gym with your brother to Red Palm Studios and some other ventures, as well as the philanthropic stuff. Was it Red Palm Studios and SEO that really allowed you to do those other ventures, or did you find entrepreneurial pursuits before that?
I'm one of those poor entrepreneurs that, or in the beginning anyway, that I just went and swung at everything. Anything. Hey, Daniel, build this website for me and we're going to make you explode and be a millionaire. Hey, Daniel, if you do this, and hey, this is a Rolodex you get access to. So I did a lot of things for free. I mean, from soap products to corporate tech stuff, software, even crypto stuff. Like, I tried it all and just could not swing and hit anything, right? A lot of people just use my talents and giftings, and I was pimped it out for because I was a web developer, I was a graphic designer, so I could create logos, branding, build a website, I could do it all. I was a one-stop shop. Red Palm was Daniel Molina. And so the first 12 years of my life as trying to see what the heck I want to do for my life, learning from different people, working for big ad agencies, small boutique agencies. I started Red Palm as a contractor to help because I realized that, man, people are billing me at, let's say, $25 to $35 an hour, but then they're billing the client at $150 an hour. I want that position. How do you get there, right? Because the people who are billing me don't know how to build websites. They don't know marketing really. They kind of do, but not really,
Yeah.
And so I'm like, let me figure that out. And so I learned all my experiences from big agencies, small boutiques, starting my own, starving artist, if you will. And then in 2012 is when things started changing for myself. I got some priorities out of whack. I was not focusing on the family. I started because I was chasing the American dream, like chasing the entrepreneur. I got to work 90 hours a week and make it. And I just hit a brick wall. I had a clothing line, and my clothing line, was very successful. It was, when I say very successful, Will Smith was wearing our stuff, Jada Smith, NFL players, golf players, baseball players were wearing my stuff. And so I was about to make it. I just had my priorities out of whack. So I shut it all down, focused on Red Palm. And that's when things started getting better, because what I was building a house on sand with trying to do all these things and being, knowing a lot of things, but being an expert of nothing. Right. And because I just bought into this lie, like, hey, just go after everything. And, me, shiny coin. And so when I focused back on Red Palm, I started really focusing on marketing and being a better marketer. That's when things started changing. And I said no to everything else, anything else, I said no. And so as I started doing that, then that's when things started changing. SEO was 2008 is when SEO started to come into play. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. And I was writing articles. I was, at the time you could write 300 words and you'd be fine. And, I was building the websites and everything. I was one man show. And then I started growing from that. And then I got the, hair salons, physicians, to trades. So heavy of my company, my client base is in the trades, plumbers, electricians, heating and air companies, because they need SEO to be found on Google, right? And so now we're a big team. We're in the 1%, top 1% of agencies, and so obviously I've become successful in the eyes of owning a business. So Line MMA was an attempt of, hey, I have a gym, and I had a sorbet shop in Hawaii that didn't make it. Lots of money. People don't talk about that.
I think that's awesome.
$70,000 in my gym. I lost $40,000 in the sorbet. But last year I started a tree service company, and we made almost $1 million, $950,000 gross with a 35% EBITDA. And so, so there's ugly, and there's things that you thought you could do, and then there's things that that are great and awesome. And so Red Palm is definitely my bread and butter that allows me to invest in these other things. So yeah, for sure. So Red Palm is definitely that, but I've dabbled in a lot of
skill sets too. I think you nailed it. Like if you're good at SEO and marketing, and you get good at figuring out how to do that once, then you can do it for other businesses from there. But trying the other businesses without getting good at sales or marketing is a recipe for disaster, and
100%,
in my opinion. But I think you kind of nailed some stuff here that I wanted to talk to you about on the SEO front there too. You alluded to things that it's changed over time. They used to be able to, I love that time in my career, man, around 2010, when you could write a 300, 500 word blog post and post it up there. And like the next month it's ranked #1 for a keyword. It was glorious.
Yeah.
Now I feel like AI slop has changed the content path towards SEO, but we also see SEO just dropping in general. Like Google searches are down. They've doubled down on their AI summaries and other stuff, and people are suggesting that there's major drops from 25 to over 50% drop in just search traffic from SEO and Google in particular. How do you see the state of SEO here in the middle of 2025?
Yeah, and I think there's differences in the trades. There's differences in if you're selling a product, affiliate marketing. There's all kinds of things. True. SEO is so broad. I could definitely speak into the side of near me terms, like plumber near me, hair salon near me, whatever near me, which is local SEO. When I think about the macro SEO, which is just United States, I'm selling this product. A lot of people got to consider, like, Google's trying to provide the best quality traffic and the best quality results to queries, right? And so I think some of that traffic that people were getting was inflated, and was probably bots and just traffic that wasn't even important. And so if you see a huge decline on traffic, like for me, my plumbers would get like 14,000 hits per month. I'm like, that's not exciting, because those are meaningless traffic. You got to really look to see what traffic matters. And I think Google did a spam update. No, I know Google did a spam update last year in December, and it not in 2023 they did a spam update, and it was huge, and everyone dropped and just like SEO's dead. Oh my gosh. And I think it was just Google trying to say, look, there's just a lot of fluff out there. Let's get rid of these stupid affiliate blogs out there that are giving you traffic that's meaningless, and really try to hone in on what kind of quality of traffic that you're getting and what kind of quality of results we're giving to our customers. So that's more of the macro. At the local level, SEO is more important. Even ask Perplexity, ask ChatGPT, ask Google, ask all the AI, is SEO important in 2025? And they all will say yes, 100% more than ever, right? And it's not, we're not battling for information anymore, right? Information is everywhere. It's how you construct the information and how precise you are with answering the queries is what gets you there. Then the reviews, then social signals, then all these other factors that's going to help. But I would say the pie chart, as you were talking about, alluding to, of like content is king, that was like 75%, if not 90% of the results that you got from ranking or not. Now that pie went down low to maybe I would say 35 to 45% is content on your site, and 25 to 30% is reviews and on Yelp and Facebook and Google My Business, obviously, and then social signals, backlinks, right? So the it's still important, but then now there's a bigger spread of that pie chart. So the future of SEO is still alive. It's just that you can't get away with writing garbage anymore. You can't get away with hiring some third-party vendor with 2-star content and post it on your website. You think you're gonna rank? You got to be a lot smarter, to know what words and what topics to cover, how to cover them, and how to answer. Our stuff is showing up on ChatGPT. Our stuff literally is ChatGPT is using us as a source. So when you go to source, it says what are some of our clients. So just knowing how to do it.
I want to talk about that a little bit, but first, I think there's a big misconception that I've noticed throughout my career is that people that don't do this for a living are about like 5 to 10 years behind what is actually happening.
Yeah.
So, they're, in 2020, still asking about keywords on their page or how to optimize the page. And you're like, really? Everything is off page now. And like you said, whether it was a keyword or a phrase versus like the semantic searching and stuff that we can do now, or recommendation engines and the types of listings, map listings and AI summaries and citations and stuff are all different. I agree with you. I think the overall pie is much bigger too. So while that pie is changing, more people are asking more questions online than ever before in human history. So the amount of available traffic is much larger, even if the amount of sites that are ranking or the amount of content that's out there is even bigger too. So could you talk a little bit about maybe some common myths and misconceptions you're seeing a lot these days?
Yeah, well, I keep getting hit up by SEO's dead, on Facebook ads, right? And then the guy who's promoting it is actually using SEO. He's selling SEO. It's so funny. But hey, marketing works. The misconception is that AI is taking over and all the search queries and life is over for content writers and all that. Yeah,
you think AI is taking over content?
I think if you really look at ChatGPT, if you ask the 10 people, how do you use ChatGPT? They're not going to say, I use ChatGPT to look for the closest coffee shop. I use ChatGPT to look for my auto repair shop. No, they're using ChatGPT either to type out their email, hey, make this sound more professional, or use this tone, or fix my grammar, or nowadays it's I can't stand this part of it. Is when you're on social media and there's debate and you're really just arguing. ChatGPT is arguing with ChatGPT because people are just going to, ChatGPT to hey, how do I win this argument, right? And it's just stupid. People are no longer having their own thought. They're just using ChatGPT, right? And so that's how ChatGPT is being used. And it's a small percentage. It's not We think it's a lot of people because we're in the tech space, we're in the digital space.
Right.
That the average Joe, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a very low percentage that people are using ChatGPT. Nevertheless, Perplexity and all the
You're
other.
always going to have. I think the leaders are using it now, but I'm not sure about most mainstream. And then certainly there's always the laggards and the grandmas and the people that are still on Facebook. Clicking on those pictures over there. They're the ones that are still going to be using Google and other searches to find.
There's still people using Yahoo as their
AOL
search.
email
Yeah,
addresses.
AOL, right? It's like people still even know the difference, right? And so I think the misconception is Chat GPT is over, and I didn't come up with this term, but there's a guy who helped develop, I think, AI or something. I don't know, I forgot his name. If I said the quote, you probably know, but he says, AI will not replace humans. Humans using AI will replace humans. And so instead of, kind of doing this with AI, so you better start learning how to use it, or the Mid-Journey, ChatGPT, just start messing with it. And our company has saved hundreds of thousands of dollars per year using and experiencing it, and then providing good quality service and results. I know SEO is not dead because we're still doing SEO and we're still getting results, right?
Yeah.
And we use AI, and it still takes a lot of time to create content, good content. And so
let's talk about that and some of the techniques here, because that was going to be my next question for you, is good content. I think in some ways that's always stood out. That's always been the way, for the last 5-10 years, there was enough articles out there, and so you had to write good stuff to rank anyway. But this month, what percentage of articles do you think were written with AI versus human, and what does a good article mean to you in the middle of 2025?
Yeah. So let me go high level real quick. It's kind of like, in Texas right now where I'm visiting, there's a barbecue spot everywhere. Every other corner is barbecue. Every other corner there's Mexican food. Every other corner there's a hamburger place, right? Why? Because the market share is huge, right? And if I can make my barbecue better than that person, or the experience is better, or whatever, everyone has a shot at it. Same thing with burgers. Think about podcasts. This is a podcast, right? You're doing podcasts. Well, why would I do another podcast in this oversaturated market? Why? Because someone might like Mike in the way he talks, the way he delivers content, the kind of people he interviews. So people are subscribing to your unique self, right? And so no different than if someone listens to CNN or Fox News, but now people are actually just subscribing to Joe Rogan or Pierce Morgan or whoever it is. They're subscribing to somebody. Why? Because they like their take on the information. They're all covering the same information, right?
Right.
But it's like, but they're expressing it differently. So that's the same thing with content. Content, you can't write anything new, right? It's all been written about. But how do you take that content, and there's art form around how you deliver that content to where people want to consume it, right? Before an SEO, you can actually write to Google. I want Google, but now you have to write to humans, and now you have to write a little bit to AI, right? And so the way you have to look at content and what's good content, what's bad content. If you say, hey, ChatGPT, write me a blog about water heaters and some tips about it, and then you take that content and you post it on your blog, and it took you literally 5 seconds, you won't rank. But if you say, hey, do more research, hey, tell me, give me the top 5 water heaters in the market. Okay, now give me the top 3. Why are these better? Okay, now how long do these last? Okay, and then you start like really doing research. Then you take all the different things that you research. Now you're formulating pieces of content of one whole content. You're still using AI, but you're using pieces of the content, and you're bringing it together and stringing it together to tell a story about water heaters, right? And then you can actually even spider out of those. Like you can even talk about maintenance about water heaters, and then not say give me 5 tips about maintenance. No, like really dig in. Why is that important? What are in Dallas Fort Worth? What is the number one problem with water heater? Like if you start really asking questions and trying to find out what are 10 questions that people have about water heaters, then you start to formulate better content. But if you just kind of say, spin me 500 words, ChatGPT can't really count yet, right? But if you say, hey, give me content, a shorter content or long form content about water heaters, give me 10 of them, and you just post them, you're not going to rank. And then it's even researching, using surferseo.com and seeing what are the top blogs that are ranking right now. How many words do they have? 1,700 words? Can you write a 2,500 word blog? That's better than that, right? And so it's like, there's already a coffee, a Starbucks across the street. Why do I want to open up another Starbucks? Why? Because I could potentially steal people from that. In fact, marketing for Starbucks is actually helping me because I'm across the street. So when someone sees the lines long in Starbucks, they see, oh, there's a coffee shop over there. Let me go over there. Oh, this coffee is way better than Starbucks. So it's like, that's why people, that's why you see two gas stations across from each other, two grocery stores across from, right? And so it's the same thing. It's like, are you providing content that is better consumed, more consumable, is relevant? Maybe you answer a facet of it that's better, and then it's the art form of how you bring it together, and it's all from research.
Yeah, I love the point of view stuff to add to your list there that you started with. Is a huge one for me, and that's one of the things I like to help my clients with is just interviewing them, their top salesperson, their best clients, and figuring out what the point of view of their business is, and then we'll go do the market research and come up with a take on it that it is relevant or better. But starting with that point of view that you mentioned first, I think is a really cool idea. And then there was a whole lot in there that I wanted to dissect a little bit, and we can nerd out on SEO stuff here, of like those formats. You mentioned, longer format stuff. I'm also hearing a lot of stuff with AI around like schemas and how you structure the data inside of that, or that maybe shorter posts might be better that answer one specific question in a nice little ChatGPT style, quotable answer. What are you seeing with your clients right now? Is it mostly the longer meteor, like this is a key reference type post, or is it a little bit all of the above? And so we're hitting everything. We're getting, reviews, off-page stuff, social links, plus snippets, plus, the Google map listing, and then also having these cornerstone pieces. Is it all of the above, or is there anything that's, trending up or down as far as tactics go?
My opinion would be all the above, but it also depends on what your market is, right? Who's your audience, right? And so if your audience is definitely like, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, they're not going to go sit down and read a 5-minute, 10-minute blog, right? Just not going to do it, right? And so, they're not even going to read, period. You better have a video on there, right? And so it just depends on your demographic. But I would say the average Joe, the average person, 35-year-old, 40-year-old, it's going to be all the above, because what you're going to do is you're going to create the short form content. You're going to put it up high. You're going to answer the question in 150 characters. That's it. 150 characters, answer it. And then obviously schema marketable. That way when ChatGPT or AI or Google looks at it, oh, here's a quick and concise answer. And below is the long form to say, oh, now here you can dig in deeper with the table contents to drop to where you want to go. No different than video, right? There's long form video content, what we're doing now, 30 minutes. And then after this video, what we're going to do with it? We're going to take shorts from this long form content. And so if someone wants to just hear a quick 30-second soundbite of what Mike said was really awesome, take that soundbite. Sweet, man, I want more of Mike. Then they go onto the actual, I like that podcast. I'll go to that podcast, and then is that everybody? No, majority of people will be satisfied with the short, but very few people are going to want to see more of this podcast. And this is the same thing with content where it's written, right, where you read. And so I would definitely say you want to have a short form content at the top, and then have a table content and have a long form content below. That way you're giving people more information if they want to dig deeper. The thing I want to add that people still haven't done is video, is add video to your content. Whether it's 30 seconds, 60 seconds, because now you have video, you have short form, and you have the long form. So then when ChatGPT or whatever, or AI or Google, they're going to show your video and the answer underneath it. So now you got real estate, talk about the real estate in Google, you have both, right? And so I would add video to that.
I love that. I think that's a great answer. And what I'm hearing maybe that we missed is, for me, I don't think AEO or answer engine optimization and stuff, is that different than SEO? I think it's still about building authority and credibility and good quality content and driving people and humans and your tone of voice and the stuff that was always good marketing tactics from the beginning of time, right?
Yeah, it hasn't changed. AEO is the same, and that's what I was saying. AEO uses the same. Obviously, they don't have the insight to Google and how they create their algorithm, but It's still like, who's saying you're awesome? Who validated the content? Are people staying on your page? Are people looking at your stuff? Is your stuff shared? Are you a guest writer? Who's this Daniel Molina? He's saying 5 things to be a great, successful entrepreneur. Who else is saying that Daniel knows what he's talking about? All the same stuff, right? And so if you just keep doing that, and then now it's just now restructuring it, because before they would just search the answer on your whole long form keyword. Long form content. Now just make it easier for them to grab it, much like header 1, header 2, right? It's like, hey, we're about this, and header 2, we're about this, right? And here's the alt tags, right? It's just like that. Only now you're just taking the whole answer and doing it that way.
So couple last questions for you. Number one is, if you had to predict out, what does SEO look like 10 years from now? Same or significantly different?
I think for sure it's going to be way different than what it is today. If you subscribe to Elon, you're going to just put a chip in your brain and just think it, and then it's going to appear in front of you with the contact lens, right? But what I would say, SEO is going to look different, but you got to think, it's like, SEO is an art. It's not science. It's actually art. There's an art form to SEO, and content is king, and content is still king, right? Because what's AI doing? Grabbing content. Right now, AI is not regulated, and so until AI starts getting regulated, they're going to have to give sources to where they're grabbing their content, right? And so I think Google's has some trouble, right? Google, better, I know they're coming out with their own AI, but as more and more people start adopting the AI experience, and it starts coming on to where it's coming Siri, like whatever, then I think AI I think SEO is still going to be about content. It's still going to be who's the authority and who's validating that you're the authority. That's not going to change. How it's like,
how it's delivered and how it's indexed.
Exactly. Is it going to be oil painting, or is it going to be charcoal? It's going to be pastels. See, it's the way about how we deliver the content is going to change, but all the same content creation is going to be there.
I tend to agree with you on that. Now, I want you to put on your tinfoil hat, or we'll just experiment for fun here. If you had to predict what life looks like, your DanielMolina.life looks like 30 years from now, how do you think AI changes our world? What sci-fi movie do you think we're going to end up in?
I used to believe like Terminator, right? Terminator, the robots are going to take over and destroy everybody and blah, blah. But really, I think it's going to be more like a WALL-E, I think, unfortunately, at the end, where everything is just done for you. And until someone wakes up and like, wait, and it's not going to be AI, like, that's controlling like in the movie. It's going to be humans behind it that is going to keep people in this, like, hey, be comfortable. Hey, you know what? You don't even have to work anymore. Just subscribe to this, and we're going to pay you this. We're going to give you what you want to eat. We're going to, it's just going to be like, we're just going to be these sponges where we're just, look at it now. It's not even, is it WALL-E? Everyone's like this. People are walking like, people in the gym like this. Like, everyone's already glued to a screen, right? Yeah. And so we're already like halfway there, right? Right. Yeah, right. And so for me, it's like, then it could turn into like iRobot with Elon's, robots costing only, $16,000 being your helper at home, to some, guy that's, a bad actor, hacks into all the robots and then turn against humans and controls the world. Blah, 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 right. So, it's scary, of what the future is going to look like. But it could also be like, you plug into the Matrix and, and you just create this they create whatever fantasy world you want, and it's just as real. I mean, think about dreams, right? Dreams feel so real until you wake up, right?
Yeah.
And so it could be where you plug into something and there's these capsules all over the place, and you're just there and this whole world. They feed you with a test tube, and you never wake up. You're just in this fantasy world. I don't know, right? It's crazy.
That's
what
so
things
funny.
are.
The crazy thing is, any of that can now happen within our lifetimes. I think. I mean, it was all future fantasy stuff for 2035 or something like that, or 2300. But now it feels like it is within the next 15, 30 years. It's within reach. So fun conversation. I think you helped us with marketers, and I love your entrepreneurial mission. And so my last question for you is, how can you help us, or how can we help you?
Just if you want more information and tips, you can go to redpalm.us or follow on Instagram, redpalm there, or even Daniel Molina Life. I kind of collaborate with each other and give you more information on that. And if you need me to come back on, talk about any other topics, then let me know. And I'll love to talk about everything. I love this stuff. I'm passionate about it. And we continue to help clients all over the world. So.
Love it. Check out Daniel's YouTube channel, Daniel Molina Life, and the cool stuff he's got going on for the community as well. We certainly want to support that. And as far as Avenue 9 goes, if you need help figuring out your AI strategy, figuring out how to make the content that connects with actual humans and not just those bots floating around scraping everything, then reach out to me and let me know, and certainly help you with any other tools or tests and challenges you got. As a modern marketer, go to avenue9.com. Until next time, good luck. See you, everybody.